Hey everybody, welcome to my Raw review for last night's Monday Night Raw. I didn't get to do my review last night, but you'll probably see a video that I did right after the whole Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler segment last night, and it also featured the return of Jim Ross and the return of Brian Christopher, Grandmaster Sexy. And like I said in that video, all I can say is Michael Cole is in serious trouble. You have to see that video to know what I mean. But overall, I thought Raw was pretty good. You know, some people, shit on it a little bit. They shit on it, said it wasn't good. It actually was pretty good. Basically, they start off with The Rock doing a promo with a kid dressed up and acting like John Cena, because John Cena in The Rock's mind had been addressing him like a child. Now, one thing Rock did is he pointed out that John Cena was more appealing to the 2 to 5 year olds. Basically what I guess Rock's trying to do is tell John Cena, hey, you want me to have respect for you, you want me to treat you with respect, start being more appealing to those that want a real John Cena, not this person that appeals just to kids. Or something like that, I don't know. So anyway, he has that segment with the kid. That ends with him giving the kid a box of Fruity Pebbles. And then the promo continues. He walks off a little bit, and then you hear some music in the background, some dramatic music. And then I think it's like, now, did I forget something? And he's like thinking to himself, did I forget somebody? He's like, oh yeah. Then he turns around and addresses The Miz. And, well, all I can say is, I've got a feeling Miz is going to be in a lot more trouble than John Cena. Well, anyway, after that promo, we have, I believe, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to check here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So, again, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But, anyway, that's what happens there. But, okay, now. Now, Sheamus does capture the United States title, beats Daniel Bryan, what was a good match. In what was a good match, there's no doubt about a very good match. Well, actually, the first match was Gary Khali and The Miz. Now, Miz physically was getting dominated until Alex Riley came in, distracted and sacrificed himself at the hands of the Great Khali, opening the door for The Miz to come in and hit the Great Khali with a steel chair, basically beat him down to the fact that the Great Khali's back started bleeding. So, talk about trying to make your champion, your heel champion, seem paranoid or something like. I don't know, but they really used that match to kind of make Miz look like a legitimate threat, if you will, as champion. Now the next match of the night, of course, was the United States title match, like I said, between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. Good match. And like I said, Sheamus captured the U.S. title. And the next up, we had a promo between Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole. Michael Cole, of course, like I said, brought in Brian Christopher. brought him back. He came out to his Grandmaster Sexy Too Cool music. And basically Brian Christopher, playing up the heel portion of it, kind of said that his father never wanted him to use the Lawler name. And that his father never acknowledged him or never even wanted a family or something like, you know, things like that. And Jerry Lawler was like, look, one, I'm glad you never used the Lawler name because you're more messed up than Charlie Sheen. I guess kind of taking jabs at, you know, Brian's past, you know, situations outside of the business. So anyway, you know, after that situation with Brian Christopher, where Brian Christopher even slaps his dad across the head or something like that, out comes JR. And JR is basically trying to be the voice of reason. He's trying to tell Michael Cole, look, hasn't this gone a little too far? Haven't you gone a little far here? You know, he's trying to be the voice of reason. He's even trying to acknowledge to Michael Cole, look, you're not the voice of WWE. I was never the voice of WWE. It's the fans. Here in the arena, it's the fans watching at home. They're the voice of the WWE. Now, of course, this almost leads to a fight between the two because Michael Cole starts insulting JR as soon as JR is leaving after JR calls him a rat bastard. This opens up the door for Jack Swagger to attack King at ringside and then come in and help attack JR. Now, this leads to an attack on both men because King tries to come in and help JR, and both get put in the ankle lock, and, you know, before you know it, that's it. That's the end of the segment. Even Michael Cole puts the ankle lock on, so not a good one, I could say that. Now, the next match we had was Orton versus Mason Ryan. Now, of course, again, the stipulation was the fact that if one of the Nexus members won, they would accompany CM Punk. If not, CM Punk would be on his own. Well, Mason Ryan did not win this match. Despite the fact that people probably thought he'd be the only one that would do it, he did not win, and just like everybody else, he got punted in the head, so that means CM Punk is on his own at WrestleMania. And CM Punk, if you watch the show, was not obviously like, oh shit, I'm gotta face this guy by myself. You know, that good. And I can tell you this, you want to talk about somebody getting one of the biggest pops of the night? Randy got the biggest pop of the night. There's no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, they were in his hometown, his family and everybody was there, but he got one of the biggest pops I've ever heard. Now, the next match we had, of course, was Trish Stratus versus Vicky Guerrero. Stipulation here, Vicky Guerrero had to beat Trish Stratus to remain on Raw. Well, apparently, somehow it got made into a no disqualification match. I guess maybe because Vicky Guerrero doesn't have that much wrestling ability and they want to at least give her a fighting chance. And Josh Matthews says and here's the thing that got me. Josh Matthews said that he would miss having Vicky Guerrero in the WWE because of her antics. And I had to agree with him. I mean, and you know what? I have to agree with him. I would have missed Vicky Guerrero too. Because the truth is, despite the fact that she gets booed right out of the building, right from the start, you don't even have to put canned booing or canned cheering or anything. It's legitimate heat. Real legitimate heat. She's the kind of heel you love to hate. But I'll tell you this. Her heel status is being overtaken by Michael Cole right now. So in other words, if you want to put this would be like if you had a match between Vicky and Michael Cole one-on-one, Vicky would get cheered. Anyway, the match happened, and Vicky does beat Trish Stratus thanks to help by Lay Cool. I mean, Dolph Ziggler comes out, tries to make some peace between the two, like, whoa, whoa, we don't have to do this. Or I don't know what he was trying to do. And then they had a little confrontation. Then Lay Cool had a confrontation with Snooki. And this, of course, led to Snooki getting physical with Michelle and Layla, which I was surprised by. And thus, it all leads to the fact that Vicky Guerrero has now challenged them to face Lay Cool and Ziggler in a 6-person tag at WrestleMania. So it'll be at WrestleMania, Lay Cool and Ziggler versus John Morrison, Snooki, and Trish Stratus. And Vicky Guerrero has come out saying that before she even made that challenge, she said this is her show now, so we'll see what happens from there. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, then we had the match between Cena and Del Rio. Now this was a match between both #1 contenders, and I thought it was an okay match. And just when it looked like Cena was going to win, Brodus Clay, who I think has obviously become the bodyguard or something of Del Rio, comes in, attacks Cena. Then you hear The Rock's music hit. Because we heard from Michael Cole that The Rock was in the building. And I'm thinking, nah, can't be. Can't be The Rock. Because how can it be The Rock? How can he get from LA to here? You know? And he wasn't advertised to be in the building. So actually it turns out to be The Miz. The Miz ends up showing up in disguise of The Rock. And, oh man. You want to talk about somebody that physically, man, you want to talk about somebody that's getting tremendous heat. Miz did just that by impersonating The Rock, doing the rock bottom, and then basically he started attacking John Cena all over the place. John Cena tried to fight back, couldn't do it, and Miz basically skull crush finale'd him into that sign, into that big W sign. First he threw him right into the W sign, where it spun around, and then he hit the skull crushing finale on the ridge part of it. And to me, what they're doing, I think WWE's doing with The Miz, is they're trying to make him into the more. To me, it's like, this is what I mentioned at the beginning with Miz, when he beat down the Great Khali with that steel chair to the point that the Khali's back was bleeding. Here's what I think they're doing with The Miz. They're turning Miz, going into WrestleMania, into a paranoid, psychotic champion. Like somebody that is desperate to take out his competitors, his challenger, before WrestleMania so he doesn't have to face him. Because he's paranoid and afraid of the fact that if he faces John Cena at WrestleMania, he's going to lose. And, you know, I heard what Spinnernet had to say about his video, how Michael Cole is going to die at WrestleMania. Michael Cole ain't the only one. Miz is going to die too. So, you know, I think that's how WWE is building it up. Now, like I said, WWE could throw us a curveball and have Miz retain, but we'll see what happens. But overall, I'll give the show a 9 out of 10. It's a good Raw, good continuation to WrestleMania, and we'll just have to see what happens there. If I missed anything, let me know, and I will talk to y'all later.